These are the 10 stages of every Quest 2 user. Finally, you get a Quest 2 after months of begging your mom to buy you one for Gorilla Tag. You bring it home and unbox it and get that musty Zuckerberg smell from opening the box. You turn it on for the first time, download the app onto your phone, and you have the Quest 2 ready. But here's a problem. There's absolutely nothing to play, and you're wondering, what do I do? You're scrolling through the headset, looking at what's already installed, and some random tutorial game is already on the headset. But who wants to play that? You go ahead and look at the store for some games, which leads us to our next stage. The next stage is buying games. The Quest 2 is bare and it comes with one pre-installed game that on God nobody will ever play. You look at the store and pick a game that you want to spend money on, and you're being really careful because once you buy one game, it is not easy to afford another game on the Quest because they're stupidly expensive. You take your time and search up gameplay of different games that you're interested in, and obviously you go ahead and start downloading all of the free games first. You download games like Gorilla Tag and also Echo VR. This game was the best game for VR beginners because it just put you straight in, and it was the best game ever. It was legendary, and it was one of my first games ever on the Quest. Rest in peace. Anyways, you finally find the game that you want to buy, and you spend approximately like $30 on it because that's the median price of all these Quest 2 games. But as you buy this game, there's one question that lingers in the back of your mind. Is VR something that I should have been this excited about? While you're still thinking about that question, you're on the next stage, and that is the obsession stage. You find your favorite game that you just bought or you got for free, and you play it to death. You play it all day 24/7. It's the only thing you can think about. Some people find Gorilla Tag and play that game with its endless amount of content on YouTube and in the game. It's like everybody who has a Quest has that game. Some people might go ahead and play other high-end games like Blade and Sorcery or Bone Lab. And Blade and Sorcery is my favorite game, and I am addicted to it still to this day. And it's one of the most iconic VR games ever. There are a bunch of mods that you can do, and this game's content is just so unlimited that you will probably take 3 years to finish everything the game has to offer, including the mods. Or some people take the generic route and get stuck and addicted to the most iconic Quest 2 game of all time, where you wave around 2 sticks and slice boxes to a Beat Saber. I've personally never played that game because it's just too expensive to whip around sticks, but you know, it's how it is. Everything is going great, or so you thought, but it's actually getting worse and worse. Now you're on the boredom stage. Yes, playing VR for the first time was so exciting. You were happy to put on the headset you spent $400 on, and playing that new game that you bought was so amazing and a wonderful first time experience. But now you don't know what to do. You're not sure whether or not to buy another game that will make you less bored. And I know this stage like the back of my hand because I've been in and out of this stage more times than I can count. It seems like there is really nothing else you can do in VR. You would rather just go ahead and touch grass. No games actually intrigue you, and none of your friends really have VR either because it's just so expensive and it's so new. But that question you've had is starting to answer itself a little bit. Is VR something that I should have been this excited about? You start to slowly piece together the answer to that question, but right now your only answer is maybe, but that's gonna change. After a big break, you are on your comeback stage. This stage is when you go back to your old favorites because it's just been so long since you played them. Most games during your break time will have a bunch of updates that keep the game fresh for you to enjoy it like you have the first time. For example, Gorilla Tag just came out with a new update that I've seen everybody and their mother make a YouTube video on, and they gave you a brand new map which looks like a cave. I don't know, I don't really play the game. Anyways, you find the Quest 2 really refreshing and enjoyable, especially with all the cool updates that make the Quest 2 look new every 6 months or so. But this next stage is the coolest stage in my opinion. But there is one problem with all Quest 2 stages, and that is if you have blurry vision, the Quest 2 is going to be super blurry and unusable. So I recommend getting prescription lenses from VR Rock. They support the Quest 2, the Quest 3, the Pico 4, and a bunch more. You also can get anti-blue light and anti-glare with your lenses. Get yours in the link down below. Use code POETECH for 10% off all your purchases. This is the SIDEQUEST stage. This is the stage that most Quest 2 users go through experimenting. SIDEQUEST has a ton of games and features that you can use to customize your quest. Most users might download a couple of free games off of SIDEQUEST, or they might get custom homes like this SpongeBob one that I downloaded from my childhood, and I got this when I was going through my SIDEQUEST stage. You can also change the settings on your Quest 2 to make it sharper. You can disable Guardian or do a whole bunch of stuff. This is the best stage because every Quest 2 user feels like a genius messing around with the settings on their Quest that they actually shouldn't be doing by Zuckerberg standards. But who cares what he thinks, am I right? However, this is the next stage that I want to talk about that not everybody goes through, and this is the YouTuber stage. Most people just want to become YouTubers because they see other people making content on the Quest 2 that they enjoy using or on their favorite Quest 2 game. You see a bunch of Gorilla Tag YouTubers, Quest 2 news, and that's about it when it comes to the Quest, which makes you think that you have a chance of standing out and being very unique, and it's very true. There aren't many Quest 2 YouTubers as there are Minecraft YouTubers, so you have a higher chance of standing out and being unique and blowing up. This is honestly a really cool stage because you can have fun making content, and this is something that I personally enjoy doing. I mean, I script YouTube videos longer than I actually play on my Quest, which is crazy. But this next stage is super interesting. This is a stage that is actually really rare, and only people with confidence and the stupidity to do it go through this stage. Do you have confidence? This stage is the prankster stage. Now you're probably wondering, what kind of stage is this, bro? This is the stage where you find random old people like your parents or your grandparents and you put them into VR and just absolutely ruin the rest of their lives and shorten their lifespan. You don't just put them into normal VR, you put them into insane games like epic roller coasters or something so crazy that will just make them throw up or just be super scared. Back in the day when VR was first popular, most people would put their parents into this game called Walk the Plank, where you are pretty much 200 million feet up in the sky, you are on a plank, you take an elevator to get up there. But that's old news. Now we have insane horror games that you can put them through, or like I said earlier, epic roller coasters. While you enjoy somebody suffering in VR, you still have that question that you need to answer. Is VR even worth it? Even enjoying watching these people suffer? Do I regret buying the Quest 2? The next stage is the pro user stage. This person knows all of the Quest 2's tips and tricks, like the quick screenshot feature that you can do just by holding the oculus button and the trigger button. You also know that you aren't supposed to charge your Quest all the way up to 100% or anything like that. You're pretty much a veteran at this point and you can use your Quest 2 with your eyes closed. I don't know why you would do that though, because some people who have the money might go out and buy a Quest Pro because of its amazing features compared to the Quest 2. The Quest Pro has face tracking so you can look ugly in VR and in real life. It has colored camera pass-through, which the Quest 2 doesn't for some reason. The Quest 2's pass-through looks like something recorded off a water bottle. At this stage, you're him. Now for the final stage, and the stage that answers the question that you've had all along. Is VR on the Quest 2 even something to be excited about? The grandparent stage is a stage that very few make it to. By this time, you've enjoyed everything the Quest 2 has had to offer. Even the games and the constant updates that completely change the Quest 2 every 6 months or so. And now, you're willing to let your younger siblings or your friends use the headset because if you had your time with it. It's time for the next person in the line to get their fun. And it's not your fault. VR is very new, and the Quest 2 is still in its baby stage. VR will get better in the future, but for now you just have to give it up and just take a little break and give it off to somebody else. That doesn't mean abandon your Quest. Obviously you got to keep it. It was expensive. There's not much VR can do for you. You've already experienced what it's had to give you, but you finally have the answer to your question. And yes, VR on the Quest 2 was very worth it because it had a whole journey that you've enjoyed from start to finish. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite color is.